You live, you die. You live, you die.
Everyone dies.
Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies.
We've got Wolfie, we've got Brandon, we've got Andalyn, we've got Desiree, we've got Natasha, we've got Matt.
Oh my gosh.
We've got Brandon.
I forgot.
Oh,
I have to
Brandon.
go on the new on my phone. I'm like, where is the chat? And made me think that we're not on, but we are on.
We are. We are. We're
Hello,
here.
everyone.
I know you said we have some new joiners.
We do. Huge welcome back to Sydney. She rejoined as a Taco Supremo.
What's up, Sid?
And Stacy is a small taco. So welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining and supporting us.
Yes, we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sydney and Stacy. Every time I hear Stacy, think of...
Stacy's
Yeah.
mom has got it going on.
That's what I think of every time. I don't hear that name a lot.
Tell me you're a millennial without telling me you're a millennial. Is that what we're doing?
I don't...
That song?
Do people still name their daughter Stacy, I wonder?
It's not a very popular
No.
name.
But
for-
it used to... Well, not used to be, but
Yeah.
I've only met one Stacy in my life. I think it's a great name,
Yeah.
you know?
I think it's a hot name.
I think it is a hot name.
Anyway, this is for Sarah. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise. Thank you for fixing my bongos last week, Niquiz.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Cheers, Sarah.
Cheers.
Cheers, Sarah.
That was good.
Oh, sort of. What was it?
Oh, that was really good.
It was a jelly donut or jam donut as she called it.
Yes.
It does taste like
Yes.
a donut.
I have more.
Yeah, I could go for another.
I like it. Yeah.
It almost tasted like black raspberry ice cream.
All right, let's get started. We're going to Anchorage, Arkansas.
Anchorage, Alaska.
Where's Alaska at compared to South America, Jen?
It is north of South America. It's in the Pacific Northwest.
No. Look, I'm going to go north right now.
You're in Alaska. That's
Yeah, but
Alaska.
I'm going north. Well, so I'm going south. So if it's north, I'm going south. No South America. Wait, what
Well,
is
that's
this?
Hawaii.
But that's Africa, Jen. Africa. Africa's right there, Jen.
I can see Russia from my house.
And didn't you guys think that this thing was like bigger?
I mean, it
That's
was.
Antarctica, isn't it?
No, Jen.
Why
Yes.
is
That's
It is.
Iceland.
No.
fuck you? Iceland is very nice where Greenland is full of ice. At least I know that.
It was
Iceland is
also was bigger. Melting.
it's melting.
Maybe, can you please get back
All
to
right, sorry.
Anchorage, please?
So we're going to 2019 today. I know we talked about this on headlines, but it is not a very popular case, even though it is insanely crazy, even though this is a really crazy case. September 30th, 2019, a 911 call comes in. It is a woman who is contacting the police. It's not an emergency. She just wants to turn in something that she found. She says she has this SD card and she needs to just turn it in because there's a crime on it.
Oh.
The SD card has a video and there is a crime on it. The SD card is labeled, quote, homicide at Midtown Marriott. So she turns it over to police and we do know this woman's name. Her name is Valerie Kassler. You'll see her. She did have to testify. The reason she was so kind of weird about turning it in is because she actually, this is her story and this is what happened. A week before she turned it in, she was with a John downtown Anchorage, Alaska. It was extremely late at night and they negotiated a price for whatever, hand job or whatever. He gets out of his truck. He goes to the ATM. And while he was at the ATM, Valerie, who has been high for 2 weeks, she said,
Ooh.
and you'll hear her say that. She's in the truck. He's at the ATM. She looks through the center console of the car of his truck and he finds his cell phone. She knows, hey, I could probably trade this in for some drugs or even get $15 for it. Whatever, I'm going to do it. So she takes the phone and she opens her door and she bolts. Now this phone had an incriminating video on it, a homicide. Now, she didn't want to turn herself in because she has multiple arrests for prostitution and theft. So she was...
Well, this would also be included in both of those too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Hi, I got this while I was with a John, and I stole it from him.
Well, so initially she said, I got this as I was walking down the streets of downtown Anchorage, and I found an SD card on the ground. But it was obvious that that is not the reason. So she eventually came forward and said, hey, yeah, I was negotiating a John. I actually put the video on an SD card and sold his phone. So they did get an SD card, but she had sold the phone. Anyway.
At least they didn't get an STD card.
Ho ho!
Good to have you back. So anyway, what was on the SD card was extremely hard for anyone to watch. Now, I will say the video is not available, but the jury who convicted this man in the video had to see it. We do have the audio, so I'm going to let you hear the audio, and it is disturbing as hell. In fact, Valerie, when she testified, this is what she said after she saw that video for the first time, because she was flipping through the phone, seeing, what he's got on it, or just kind of messing around. This is what she said after seeing that video.
I had been out drinking and getting high for like 2 weeks straight, and then I turned it on, and I was sober in less than 5 minutes.
That's how bad that video is. So what do you think is on the video?
Something unspeakable. Maybe like a child murder or cannibalism or murder with cannibalism or like beheading.
Police quickly figured out where the video was taken due to the carpeting of the background.
So I have a question, because she said that the SD card, the file was called Murder at the Marriott. So is that what she called it? How did she know it was at the Marriott? Or is that what they're calling it because of the carpeting that was there?
That is what the police are calling it, yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't like she said, hey, I found this video on this SD card. It was clearly at the Marriott. Here you go. It was like they found out it was at the Marriott.
Very good, Jen.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go to that Marriott right now. This is in Alaska. It was actually the Marriott town place.
Well, that's a nice Marriott.
How do you know?
Because, like, Marriotts have a certain, like, well, Marriotts are nice in general. Those are nice hotels. Let's be real. But, like, each different Marriott has, like, a different level.
All right, so it's right here. The Town Place Suites. And they knew it was this exact hotel because of the carpeting. And let's see the carpeting. This type of carpeting right here.
The V?
Yeah, that type of carpeting. So they could easily tell. And it just so happens to turn out that the man on the video, which you can't see, but his accent is extremely unique for anyone in Alaska. He's South African. It turns out that the guy on the video, which you can't see, also works for the Marriott. So he works at this hotel, which is crazy, right?
Can't trust anyone.
Oh, Joanne will be in Alaska in 5 days.
I hope you're not staying at this hotel.
I hope so too.
And if you
should go
are
on a cruise.
Yeah.
Just don't stay in room 322. That's the hotel room she was in. The video.
That's our P.O. box.
It says right here, Town Place Suites, room 322.
Well, that's how we're not going to forget our P.O. box.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
322.
From Valerie Kassler's own words, this is the woman who found the SD card. Quote, it showed her, the victim, lying on the ground, on the rug, and she was all beat up. I mean, her face was not even recognizable. He was hitting her and telling her that she wasn't going to leave the hotel alive and that he's killing her. She didn't see the man talking on the video, but she recognized that unique accent, quote, like European or something, end quote. The accent is extremely unique for Alaska. He's South African, and he just immigrated to Alaska in 2019. So literally, he just got his citizenship, and he now has a woman in a hotel room torturing her, which brings up another question, which I'm definitely going to do a lot of research on. How many people did he kill in South Africa?
That's a good point.
You know, Elon is from South Africa.
I did know that.
I have a student from South Africa.
Because his family had all those diamond slaves.
Yikes.
The emerald diamonds.
Emeralds or diamonds, they're not the same thing.
The emerald diamond or whatever. I don't know, Jen.
Don't ask hard questions. Gosh.
All right. Now let's try to hear that video. It's pretty bad.
All right. Warning.
Don't warn them. They know what this is. There's snapping noises. There's a victim groaning.
That's the victim?
Yeah.
Sounds like a dog.
I know. That's
I was
because
going to say, it kind of sounds like a chainsaw or something.
y'all hear is like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally, that's what like Luna sounds like when she's angry.
So the whole time in this video, it's like he's upset because she's not dying. And you can tell by that moan how close she is to death. That's bad. He's saying, come on, man. Come on, please.
Yeah, that's it. Just do it. Just take it. Swallow it. Just do a nimble shot while we get your, like an angle, like an action shot.
Guy's a fucking psycho, dude.
You die. You live. You die. You live. You die. Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies.
That's bad.
The Oscar. Our movie. Okay, so just finish. I'm trying.
Wow. I mean, he like sounds like a, well, at first I thought it sounded like sometimes when we test our mics and you do like nonsense noises like that. You don't sound like that though. But like we make nonsense noises like when we're testing our mics. But then he sounded like a cartoon character.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy.
You die.
You live, you die. You live, you die.
Everyone dies.
Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies.
So he's filming this.
Yeah, he's filming it. And
Sadly in my movies, everyone dies.
So
Whoa.
do you think he's filming this for himself or for...
I mean, it sounds like he's filming it for a snuff film, but
I
there's
don't like that.
Anyway, he also does these mouth noises that you were talking about.
He was making the Jaws
He's like,
theme.
Yeah.
That's what he does in the fucking thing. And so you see him in court, and they played this for the jury, the actual movie, the video, and they placed the video right in front of the jury, and the jury was looking at the killer, Brian Smith is his name, at the same time.
Yeah.
So they placed it right in front of him so they could see both. And you see the guy, he has no emotion. He's almost like,
yeah, I did this.
yeah, I did this. Like, I'm proud of it. You know, he's just watching like he's enthralled with it.
You heard Jaws, I heard Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I heard Jaws.
Do 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 do. That's Twilight Zone.
Oh,
You heard do do.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, I heard the fast part. Yeah, that's how I heard
Yep.
that.
So that is effing nuts, man.
Do you think he was trying to make her drink?
So we don't know what was on the video.
It sounded
Honestly,
like a pill to me, maybe.
No, honestly, he said do a nipple shot. So we
I
don't
didn't hear
know
that.
what the video is, but to me, it seems like he cut that thing off, cut off her nipple. She was mutilated beyond recognition. There's no doubt. He's torturing her while doing the video there, and you hear her groaning, you know?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. It's almost like the woman who turned in the video, like she could have been the next victim.
Oh, 100%.
That's
Yeah, she probably would have been, yeah.
That's crazy.
So the victim was Kathleen Jo Henry.
From The Independent, gruesome photos and videos of a woman being beaten and strangled at the Marriott Hotel, her attacker speaking in a strong accent as he urged her to die, her blanket-covered body being snuck outside on a luggage cart.
That was pretty bad. Some of the things he says in the audio, in my movies, everybody dies. What are my followers going to think of me? People need to know when they are being serial killed.
Oh, Andelin, good catch. He used the word like followers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
So a lot of people think that it's a snuff film.
OnlyFans. What year is this?
2019. No, it's not on OnlyFans. This would be like on
The dark web.
dark web or something. Yeah, for real.
I know it wouldn't actually be on OnlyFans. I was making a joke.
But we actually interviewed a woman yesterday who lives in Alaska and has been following this case really closely, as we're going to talk about why that she's been following the case. But anyway, she went into some pretty graphic detail about how about the video and stuff. That's on there if you guys want to watch that later. I'm also going to put that out as an episode. But
it's kind of like the Brian Cohey case. How was it the Cohey case that we were talking about? What was the case that pictures? They had to show pictures of, but not the jurors were flipping through. They had to flip through the hard copy of pictures. They didn't put it out on the
that was it.
I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, it's pretty bad, man. So anyway, let's talk about this guy. He just got caught. This was 2019, and apparently he was actually being looked at already by the Alaskan Police Department because of his accent. They remember that accent, and they were kind of already having him as a suspect. But as you're going to see from the lady we interviewed yesterday, she is an advocate for missing and murdered indigenous women. And in Alaska, I think she said there were 229 tribes, and both of the women attributed to this man, Brian Smith, were indigenous women. So the police would not have even searched for her. There was no missing articles or whatsoever until the SD card was found. Yeah, very disturbing.
Definitely disturbing. But I wonder, you mentioned that he worked for the hotel, or was he an international Marriott employee? What was he doing in Alaska? How do you get from
South? He emigrated to Alaska
intentionally, to be in Alaska?
I guess.
I wonder why.
Maybe he thought it would be easier to kill people there.
Yeah, maybe. There is a lot of speculation that he killed a lot of people in South Africa.
That would be my guess, is that he moved there because he felt like it would be an easier opportunity.
Yeah, I can see that.
I guess maybe with the tourism part, if you
Well, it's just not a lot of...
Yeah, not populated.
Not well populated and remote areas. I mean, people disappear in the woods a lot, It just... There's more opportunity.
Oh, Laurent says in the tribal laws played into it. That's interesting.
Listen, you need to finish this movie because I just can't on anymore. Goes once for yes, goes twice for no.
So he says, you need to finish this fucking movie. And then he says, gasp once for yes, gasp twice for no. He's talking to this woman. He's filming her and basically saying, you need to finish this movie. You need to die. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
And then he says, oh, geez, maybe there were two gaps, but you're resisting me.
Like there were two gasps, but you're resisting me. Just put your face forward, you stupid.
He says, just put your fucking face forward, you fucking bitch. And you can hear in the background, groaning. And then he says, do people have to be taught how to die these days?
Well, it's not really a skill that we know, how to do until we do it.
1,000 fucking years of evolution and you're not ready to die? You fucking bitch. You're fucking up my drinking time. How many fucking bottles of whiskey am I supposed to go through? Fucking bitch. He says, come on, just fucking take one for the team, bitch. Is this bad? This is fucking terrible, man. Take it for the team. Take it for the fucking team, bitch. He says, you realize that I have to carry your fucking ass down to my car and then dump you fucking somewhere.
Car. And then dump you somewhere, huh? You just my entire evening, bitch.
You just fucked up my entire evening, bitch.
Just finish, please.
That was pretty bad.
That's really hard to listen to, knowing that is actually what
and
was
you
transpiring.
See him in the video just kind of swiveling his chair
I
back
know.
and forth a little bit.
I mean, he's kind of he looks kind of like a Hannibal type of thing. Well, in the video, you hear him, he's like, with his, he's just fucking insane, man. Oh, dude, this is crazy. So anyway,
the part where he was he ruined my night, I'm I'm sorry.
Yeah. You ruined my fucking evening.
That is one sick fuck.
1,000 fucking years of evolution and you're not ready to die? do people have to be taught how to die these days? He says, you realize I have to carry your sorry ass carcass down to my fucking car? Jesus Christ. So the victim here is Kathleen Jo Henry. She is an Alaskan native, a tribal female, an indigenous female. And a lot of these victims experience homelessness, especially in these tribes in Alaska up there. Antonia, she is an activist for these indigenous women because their stories do not get covered at all. And the only reason this is covered is because the uniqueness of the memory card. Like you wouldn't even see this on any news.
No.
Anyway, so Kathleen Jo Henry, she died September 4th, 2019 in the Town Place Suites, room 322. He then, after urging her to die, blanketed her body and then snuck it outside on a luggage cart. Right before the murder, he bought a burner phone, which they're going to find nearly 100 burner phones in his home with his wife. His wife didn't know, like always. They have no idea, completely oblivious.
He was married?
Yeah, married. There was SD cards by the hundreds there.
Like with saved material, like...
Exactly. And no one knows what's on them. And the Antonia, who we talked to, has a suspicion that the police just aren't doing anything, even though there might be things on there. Did you get that impression when she talked to us yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the victim was only found in a state of decomposition where it was just skeletal remains. All right. But a few hours before the torture, he buys a burner phone and beer. He then buys cleaning products for the day after. They think that the victim was strangled, although the hyoid bone was not broken, but they did conclude that it was strangulation. But however, they only found skeletal remains. So what was found in Brian Smith's truck? This guy's name is Brian Stephen Smith. He's a South African native, and he got his immigration status 2019. This interview we had with Antonia, she is an amazing person, man. She is she's out there doing protest, and because there's no coverage on these cases. But she said another case for me to look at is, and you can follow her on the TikTok. She has a big following there. But there were these two indigenous women that were found dead on a mayor's property, or like a former mayor's property. And one of them died by a self-gunshot wound with a rifle or perhaps a shotgun that her arms wouldn't even reach the trigger. Kind of like Kurt Cobain sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And the other one died mysteriously. The boyfriend was abusive, a known abusive boyfriend, and he was never charged. And there wasn't even news about the story, honestly.
Crazy.
Yeah, we've been doing true crime for going on 7 years, and I've never heard the term missing and murdered indigenous women, MMIW. Like I've never heard of that. That is so crazy.
Well, they're so scarcely covered. Like and that's, honestly, not to go into a whole rabbit hole, but that's a problem across different types of crime and different types of stories with indigenous people. Their crime, their stories aren't covered. Yeah. It's sad. They were indigenous to this land, to our country, and kind of, and I'm not trying to derail, but it's just like, we don't know enough about them. Like, people should want to know more about them, I feel like.
It's racism.
I know.
That's what,
I know.
John asked some good questions yesterday, and really, why is it? And the really blunt truth is racism. That's it.
Talking about the racism anyway, it's funny because this article from the Herald Live, and this is from South Africa, it says, murder in Alaska, how SA man, South African man, answered online questions about crime and black people. So this is the killer that we're talking about tonight, Brian Smith. He was on that site Quora.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of all this other shit, he's an extreme racist. And I haven't read this yet, but I'm going to tell you what he says. Recently, Smith answered hundreds of questions on Quora. He replied to one question posted on the site, do white people assume all black people are thieves? And he replied, quote, everywhere in the world where blacks go, there is an immediate increase in crime. It is a statistical fact that blacks are 600% more prone to breaking the law than whites, end quote.
Wonder where he's getting his facts from.
The same place Dylan Roof gets his, I guess.
Yeah.
So he is, on top of all that, he's kind of a racist, I guess.
And didn't we talk about he's like a YouTube handyman or something like that?
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to get to that.
Okay,
Let me talk about his background really quick. So I said he was a recent immigrant from South Africa. He worked at the Marriott, and he actually just got a new job right before he was arrested for another hotel. So he was at the Residence Inn. He also worked at Alaska Tire Service, Down Engineers, and Marriott Suites. His dream in life was to open his own hotel. You know, kind of H.H. Holmes vibes there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has a wife. They met while gaming, online gaming. Her name is Stephanie Bisland. She said, quote, "I have never seen anything dark from him." And the wife tells the police, or the wife said about police telling her, "They said I was pimping for him, bringing girls, things like that. And maybe you don't know your husband."
Well, she definitely didn't know her husband.
Well, they were married less than a year when he did this. So they just met.
Confirmed.
And
she did not know him very well.
And then he moved, I would imagine, to live with her. We don't know much about this case. I'm telling you, there's not a lot of information on it, despite like how crazy it is. In his truck, they found an Adidas bag filled with latex gloves, duct tape, garbage bags, 2 homemade gun suppressors, which are silencers. One, interestingly, was made from an oil filter, like in that game we were playing. We're playing this video game where you kill zombies, but you can make a silencer out of an oil filter.
Days Gone, for those of you who would like to start a game that John absolutely loves.
There was stains on the carpet of his own home matching another victim, someone who wasn't in the hotel that night, a Veronica Abachuk. And he actually admitted to this one when police arrested him. He was just getting back from a vacation. They arrested him off the plane, and he goes closed-lipped for 6 hours and then finally says, "Hey, do you want me to make you guys famous?" And then he tells about this victim, Veronica Abachuk, who is also an indigenous victim who they had no idea about. She was not even on the radar.
Wow.
And so obviously that's not even the victim that was in the hotel. So now he just admitted to 2.
Right.
Now, here's the thing that I want to talk about kind of tonight with this. So I said we interviewed this woman named Antonia, and you can find her on TikTok, but she is also on several websites, like several news websites. This is her right here. If you can see, she is protesting. She organizes several protests. In fact, she's got one tomorrow in front of someone's house.
Huh.
So if you listen to the trial, more specifically what the defense attorney said, he says what you're going to hear is that my client, Brian Stephen Smith, did these things, and he even had an accomplice. Well, who is that accomplice? Well, this is the reason I reached out to Antonia to begin with, because there is a guy, his name is Ian Calhoun. He is a death metal drummer. He lives in Alaska, and Brian Stephen Smith, they met through their love of death metal music. They connected, and lo and behold, we have Facebook messages and text chats from both of them that they were sort of working together, not to kill these women, but to do whatever they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Antonia, who we interviewed, if you listen to that interview, that's what she talks about. She is protesting and organizing these protests outside of this man's home. If you type in Ian Calhoun petition,
which we did post a link in the Discord for everybody to sign.
This is Arrest Ian Calhoun Now. This guy right here is still out, and he is not being arrested. He went to testify in court, and then he pleaded the fifth.
Which is when you do not say anything so that as to self-incriminate.
Yeah, she's seen Dave Chappelle. I plead the fifth.
Well, a lot of people hear that and don't know what it really means.
The Fifth Amendment is the right to not incriminate yourself.
September 4th, 2019, while Brian was torturing and murdering Kathleen Jo Henry at the hotel, 12:54 a.m., Brian to Ian, messaging to Ian, his partner, "Hey, you up? I'm having fun." This was during the murder. "Hey, you up? I'm having fun." Ian says, "I was not up. Sounds like you were having a lot of fun." Then Brian says, hi, I did have fun. Wanted to share. Then Ian says, we need to get together for a drink soon. Are you anywhere near me today? I'm in Anchorage, yes. I kind of want to go catch this guy and then sit down like, what's that guy who does Catch a Predator?
Oh, yeah.
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen, and be like, well, from the text chat here.
Didn't our friend say that he might be able to get us a connection with Chris Hansen?
Yeah. He says, I'm in Anchorage, yes. I'll be working till 4. At this point, Brian admits to Ian that he has Kathleen's dead body in the back of his truck. All right. He admits this. I have something to show you. I can't keep it for too long. And then Brian says, I'll be finishing at 4:30. Need to find a secluded spot to meet. Okay, I should be off pretty close to then. Hey, I'm at a small park close to your home. You finished work yet? And this is his phone and Ian's was pinged at exactly the spot where the body was. The skeletal remains 11301 Birch Road, Anchorage, Alaska. Ian, give me 1 minute. And this is the FBI gathered this information. October 2nd, 2019, when Kathleen's remains were found. Facebook messages between Brian and Ian. Ian, as we just said, is still is out scot-free. He is not getting arrested. He is, and this is why she's protesting. She's already done 5 protests in front of his house. And this guy, if you watch the interview, has tried to put a restraining order on Antonia.
Really?
Stalking charges and all of this stuff. And she is not going to stop. Here's the Facebook messages. Ian sends a news article from KTUU about human remains found on the highway. Brian says, oops. Ian says, as soon as I saw it, knew I should send you a text. Brian says, I'm surprised it took so long. In a few weeks, snow would have covered it. Ian, I was kind of hoping that it would hurry and snow. Me too, from what was said, LOL. But that means I'll be in the clear. Okay, so does this guy like...
That's awfully incriminating. Just the text messages.
This guy needs to be fucking locked up, dude. I mean, what the fuck?
He at least knew about it, right? Even if he did not participate in the murder.
Yeah, but he's visiting the fucking body.
But he did not report, and that's what the charges that Antonia was saying, that basically all that they're trying to get charged, or what they feel like they're asking for, is the equivalent of a $500 fine apiece. So it's not like they're asking for a crazy amount of justice, but it would go on his record that he knew about these murders.
Brian says, there is something else I must tell. I will talk next week, but keep an eye on this about any leads. Can't talk, not alone. Everyone is upset that I am carrying my phone around on vacation. And then Ian says, gotcha. We'll get together soon. So Ian Calhoun is, he's still out there.
Out there in the community.
So that's what this article is. Unfinished business in Brian Smith murder case. Protesters demand answers about Ian Calhoun.
Abetting a crime. Yep. Perjury, conspiracy, multiple options. Yeah.
For sure.
That makes a great point. How these sort of people find each other always shocks me.
No shit.
The dark webs.
But in this case, it was heavy death metal, right?
You see, and dude, I listen to death metal, man. I like that shit. Not the shit you can't understand, but I'll listen to like a lot of Slipknot and shit like that. I guess it's not death metal. But you see, like, these protesters, this neighbor complicit with murder. I mean, they were out right in front of his house.
We do know from Antonia. Sorry, I knew an Antonia, and I can't get that out of my head. That he was fired from one of his jobs. We know.
Well, that's good.
It's a step. Not enough.
No.
Shram said, met my partner in crime playing Pokemon Go. So sweet.
Did y'all try to get the same Pokemon, or how's that work?
Snorlax.
I wonder what happened to my Pokemon card collection from when I was younger. Like, I don't know if it's, well, more than likely it's still sitting at my parents' house somewhere.
In the basement?
In the basement. The basement. Wait, did I bring you guys down to the basement, or was it like they were home, it was a no-go?
I don't think your mom was willing to allow anyone down there.
Oh, no, she is not, but I don't know if I brought you guys down there anyway.
What was his sentencing?
For the murders.
The sentence is minimum 99 years, so he's in prison forever.
Brian Smith.
Brian Stephen Smith. But as far as Ian Calhoun, he has no charges against him.
And I think when we were doing the interview yesterday, there is another potential victim that has just not been.
Oh, yeah.
Ian or Brian or both?
With Brian.
No, there's so apparently.
I mean, I'm sure there's more, but at least one.
No, I looked this up on about people who knew him and like on Reddit. So I mean, take it for what it is. But someone had mentioned that there's a South African ripper out there that was never caught, and his crime stopped on 2019, and which is when Brian Smith moved.
Interesting.
And he was living in the same area apparently.
Wow.
Kind of crazy, dude.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
It was a really great interview yesterday. We learned a lot and support, the mission around searching and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous women or
MW.
persons, I guess.
Yeah, that audio is crazy, man. You know, like just take one for the fucking team. Holy shit.
Very disturbing.
Yeah, very.
That's crazy.
Literally, I mean, he was trying to make a movie, but like it sounded like it was a movie.
It does sound like it was a snuff film production.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which means that there's probably a lot more victims, I'd imagine.
A lot more victims, and like who's watching this stuff too? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the disturbing part to me.
yeah, someone out there is willing to buy it and is
They should. I'm telling you, they should search Ian Calhoun's computer. 'Cause
They should.
He's probably got all kinds of child porn and shit on there.
yeah, or just things on that you would find on the dark web.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sweet.
We will be back for headlines mañana.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.
Kind of run this shit.